Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this morning or this afternoon, depending upon where you are, to the webinar hosted by AGS Data Systems and the Grants Clearinghouse. Today, we're going to spend the next half an hour or so talking about the full grant lifecycle support. So thank you all for being here. We're really excited to have the opportunity to spend some time with you, and thank you for giving us time from your, I'm sure, very busy schedules. Our agenda for today is pretty straightforward. We have a couple of speakers, and they're going to be introducing themselves individually. Then we're going to spend a little bit of time describing, both with pictures being worth 1,000 words, and some discussion about what is the full grant life cycle and the collaboration between our two organizations. We'll hear from Elizabeth Higgins from the Grants Clearinghouse, providing more details about what their tools and offerings are, and learning a little bit more about that. We'll hear from Derek Edwards from AGS Data Systems about what they're up to. And we'll have plenty of time for questions and discussions at the very end. A little bit of housekeeping. I think everyone is probably muted at the moment, but you do have a raise the hand feature. And at the end, where we have time for discussions, we'll be able to provide you with a chat feature, so you'll be able to chat in your questions. So without further ado, let me go ahead and introduce Derek Edwards, President and CTO of AGS, and Elizabeth Higgins, Director of Grants Administration. Derek, you're muted if you'd like to say a couple of words about yourself.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Derek Edwards from AGS.
Hi, everyone. I'm Elizabeth Higgins, the Director of Grants Administrations from the Grants Clearinghouse.
Thank you. So thank you very much for your time, and thank you very much for the opportunity for us and our two organizations to present to you this morning. Our two organizations have individually been in this market space for decades, and some of the principals in these organizations have known each other for decades. And we feel like that we have arrived at a point where we will be able to offer to those of you on the call a combined collaborative offering. For years, the clearinghouse has been and are process and subject matter experts in helping organizations prepare for grant applications, applying for grants, and then post-award helping with the management of that process. For decades, AGS has been working with organizations specifically in this particular grant space, federal grants, DOL, DOE, DOC grants, that where the data collection process, data validation, the actual reporting, and the compliance for what you are sending off to the grant making organizations has been the backbone of our business. And now, as you look at this life cycle diagram in front of you, we are bringing these two processes together so that we can assist you with offerings from one company or the other, and in collaboration with the two, all the way from the formulation of what you want to do, through the implementation, through compliance management, through analytics, and through the wrap up and the wind down of an individual grant project. So what we're going to spend a few minutes talking about here today are the individual strengths and capabilities of Grants Clearinghouse, how they handle their process and life cycle, from AGS, how we handle our grants and life cycle, take any questions that you may have, and let you go about the rest of your day. So thank you again. We appreciate the opportunity. I'll turn this over to Elizabeth for Grants Clearinghouse part.
Thank you, Derek. So as Derek mentioned, our team collectively has many decades of experience working with federal and state and foundation grant awards. So Mason Bishop, our principal and founder, he pulled together a team to establish the Grants Clearinghouse. And the goal was to address the diverse needs of clients who were engaged in pursuing and managing federal grant awards. Mason had served grant programs for over a decade in his own capacity with WorkEd Consulting. And prior to that, he was the Deputy Assistant Secretary for Employment and Training at the U.S. Department of Labor. And he continues to be heavily engaged in workforce development policy in DC. And he saw a significant need. So he put together a team of former directors of grants, project officers, other grant administrators, because we collectively, we'd overseen the disbursement and monitoring of grant funding at the federal level, at the state level, and also we have extensive experience implementing and evaluating federal grant awards at the grantee and subrecipient level. So he really sought out to have 360 degrees of knowledge and experience on his team, and he pulled us together to provide 360 degrees of support in the grant life cycle. So despite the abundance of various grant writing services that exist, we felt there continued to be a gap in comprehensive solutions for the entire grant life cycle. Since we've launched, we've rapidly grown because of these needs. So the Grants Clearinghouse model is prepare, win, perform. And we design customized training programs, products, and we provide coaching services to increase the effectiveness and sustainability of grant programs. So prepare, that's our first model. This is services and tools for organizations and individuals that are gearing up to pursue grant funding. They're setting the stage, addressing internal capacity, and figuring out program design. So you can see here on the slide some of the services we offer at the prepare phase. For win, this is the phase where you are identifying funding opportunities that are a good fit, and you're preparing your proposals to submit to funders. And we can assist you in developing that program design and writing that proposal. Perform. This is the phase where your grant proposal was selected, woo! And now you have to implement the project. Okay, deer in the headlights look, everyone gets that. But you know what? We are here to help you implement that project, manage that award, get your policies, get your procedures in place, help train your staff. And we also have a very efficient and effective evaluation department. And they have years and years of experience of helping set up evaluations in a way that provides you a valuable tool beyond just what the funder wants. And these are the services that we offer at the Grants Clearinghouse. And our goal is not just to stay there at the service level. We want to provide tools that can be used by your entire team. So next slide. This brings us to a couple of tools we have released just in the last 6 months. So we focused on a number of courses and made them available on our website. And so far, we've received really strong feedback that these courses are invaluable to grant managers. They're responsible for overseeing federal grant programs at their organization, and they have contacted us to let us know how they wish they had this on day 1 rather than day 60 or day 100 of their grant program. So let me point out a couple of our courses for you. So we have some in-depth courses. These are self-paced, but they're multiple modules. We tried to keep the videos short, 10-minute videos, and you watch the video, then you'll have an activity, something you're applying, something you're doing, and you can use your actual grant project throughout the training. And we designed it that way so that you can start on day 1 of when you start as a grant manager. And this will guide you through your role and your position and give you the tools necessary to be successful in your role. So you'll watch a short video, you'll do an exercise, you'll come back, you'll get feedback, you can ask questions to a human being. So those in-depth courses, we started with Grant Manager 101. It is an introductory course. If you are a new grant manager, or this is your, maybe you managed a grant before, but now you're in a big federal award and this feels like a whole new ballgame, this is the course for you. It will equip you. It will help you understand what to do, what to set up, how to organize your team and your policies. The second one that's coming out soon, woohoo, Grant Manager 102, we're focusing on finances. As a grant manager, you have to deal with finances. It's not just your accounting department. You have a role in that. So this course is going to help you understand every part of that. All those rules and laws that seem fuzzy, we're going to hone in on that. We're going to provide clarity. The other thing we have is short courses. These are 30 to 90-minute videos, and you can go and pick and choose what you need. One of the ones we did was preparing for U.S. Department of Labor monitoring, because monitoring feels really overwhelming and scary. So we broke down how to prepare, a whole process. What does the FPO expect of you? What do they want when they come on site? What is the desk monitoring like? So we walk you through all of those steps. Also, if you have to give funding to another organization, you are a pass-through entity and those are your subrecipients, we help you understand what your legal obligations are. How do you monitor them? So we have a course on that. So those are just a few on our website, and we are adding more courses every month. So please keep checking back. Sign up for our newsletter, because that's where we announce new courses that are being released. Derek, I'm going to kick it back to you.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you so much. From the AGS data system side, all of that process that Elizabeth talks about, some of you may be aware that throughout that process, there's data involved. And our forte has been working with organizations over the decades, specifically on the data collection, data validation, data management, data reporting, data analytics, all of the things that have to do with the information that is necessary for your compliance and to keep the grants flowing. So we've been doing this for 25 years across federal grants. We have a particular platform we refer to as AGS Prime. AGS Prime is a no-code web-based platform that in and of itself is industry or data type agnostic. But we have used our own platform over the last decade to build a collection of specific turnkey vertical applications. And what we do is when a new grant is coming out, pick any of these grants that you like, Good Jobs Challenge, Scaling Apprenticeship, going back to TAC days. Anytime a grant in this space comes out, we take our platform and we develop an application that contains all of the data elements that are a part of the grant process, all of the data validations for all of those data elements, and arranged according to the way the grant describes the process, so that literally on day one, you can simply log into your new application and begin collecting data in a fashion that you know for sure is going to be valid and appropriate for the types of reports that have to be done. And then we bring to the table a handful of over time analytics. So for example, we allow you to produce your own key performance indicator reports that you want to monitor internally about how your application is coming along, how the grant is coming along. For you to be able to, for those of you that are working specifically with, say, WIPS reporting, to be able to generate what we refer to as a pre-flight for your WIPS report, so that you can run the WIPS report and see the result that the feds will produce themselves after you have uploaded the data, so that you do not have to wait for potentially bad news that says there was an error with the report or there was a problem with the data or something like that, so that you can see that ahead of time. And then ultimately actually produces the WIPS report that you can use for uploading. So we start this process working with the Grants Clearinghouse structurally on the project management end of this. So even before we get to the data collection, as you are working through this, we provide an infrastructure that allows you to have a repository for all of the critical project documentation that allows you to communicate with all of your stakeholders. So you may have organizations that are spread across, or stakeholders or collaborators or community contributors and providers, employers that are involved in some of these, that are scattered across all of their own individual bespoke platforms for communication and data management. And this gives you an opportunity to say, here is a portal, and this portal contains all of the project documentation. minutes from all of the meetings, links to all of the videos, links to all of the excellent training materials that you can use in order to get along and move through the process. All of that documentation, all of the important related federal information for the particular grant. And then after you have been awarded the grant, the ability to then step in and manage this information collection and reporting process on a turnkey basis. Next slide, please. When we talk about what kind of information we're looking at and what kind of reports, this is just a little snippet of the kind of thing that you would be able to expect. But these are really your hard analytics that allow you to see exactly where you are in the process, what information you need, what voids there are. And when you look at something like this and you say, I don't understand why these numbers are not the way we expect them to be, you have our application to ensure you that the numbers are in fact correct. And you have Elizabeth to explain to you exactly what needs to be done at a program level in order to understand, adjust, collect, or remediate any issues that you may have with the data. And then at the end of the day, you are literally able to go and click the big red buttons in order to see where you are in the project and be able to upload the data. Any questions about that? Elizabeth, anything you want to contribute?
I just want to say, when I was a grant manager working for a nonprofit organization, and I had to manage 4 federal grant awards at the same time, and we were using Microsoft Word and Microsoft Excel, and I wanted to pull my hair out, and I would have loved to have a program that would help me understand what I was supposed to be doing, how this was supposed to be formatted, what it needed to look like, and make sure I had everything. And I think that's why this partnership was so important to us at the Grants Clearinghouse, because we have watched programs struggle for decades because the laborious guidelines and the constantly changing requirements of state and federal agencies, it goes on and on. Every year you feel like you're having to readapt and readjust. And if someone could just solve this issue we have and tell us what we need to do, this would be wonderful. And so collectively, everyone on this call from both of our teams, that is what we want to do. We want to solve these pain points. We don't want managing a grant program to be so awful that people are in 1 year and they're gone because they can't handle it. We want the mission of these programs to shine. We want the effectiveness of these programs to be that lasting legacy and change of those communities. And so it is our greatest joy to provide the support to make sure these grant funded programs are more than just, hitting outcomes, that they are life changing, that they're community changing. So thanks for having us on this call, Derek, and helping explain just our collective work in these areas.
Well, thank you for that. And that's exactly it. Removing the pain points, you put your finger right on it. We have always felt that we provided a service that allowed organizations to deal with the massive gray of, now what do we do with all of this data? How do we go about and build a spreadsheet? And that leads to disappointment in a lot of cases, because it is very complex. It is a very sophisticated environment that the feds press upon us when an organization receives one of these grants. And never think that it is too late. While naming no names, of course, we have certainly worked with organizations sometimes in their 4th year of a grant, where they have muddled through, but they have never actually been able to get the numbers to work out the way that they want to. Our environment allows for the bulk loading of historical information, so that we can get you caught up immediately if you are not adopting a system like this from day one. So wherever you are in the life cycle of your current project, whether that is somewhere in the middle or somewhere near the end, but things are not going the way you'd like them to, or hopefully very, very close to the beginning, so that our 2 organizations can come together and provide this collaborative capability to remove those pain points that Elizabeth talks about in order to help you with that full life cycle How do we actually write the grants? How do we win the grants? What do we do once we have won the grant? And as we come to understand the process and how we are going to have to run our program, how do we collect, maintain, validate, visualize, analyze, and report all of that information that the grant actually requires of us? We hope that this has been of some interest. We appreciate the time. We appreciate your interest. We appreciate the opportunity of presenting to you in the evening. And we look forward to having an opportunity to speak with you individually in the future. Thank you, everyone. Have a great afternoon.